I'm starting a new session in organic chemistry. As you can see, the subject is organometallic chemistry, a very important part of inorganic chemistry because it has both sigma and pi bonding between themselves, and therefore this factor makes it a very good catalyst. I think you know what a catalyst is. Catalysts are those substances that do not undergo any change but help other reactions proceed faster. So enzymes are some of the catalysts. So this is a rare class of compounds which has got both sigma and pi bonding that exists between a metal atom and the carbon. Therefore, it is organometallic. And some of the examples are the sandwich complexes and cluster compounds and carbides. To name a few, we are going to see what they actually mean here. So the organic molecule is attached to the metal via pi electrons of the ethylene ligand. It will be called as the Zeiss salt. This is from the book. We'll deal with this in the example later. That is, if you have an ethylene molecule like this, CS2 and CS2, while we are connecting the atoms, suppose for example, if you substitute chlorine atoms, they may go here, and this bond is directly attached to this carbon atom, and this bond is also can be directly attached to the chlorine atom, removing this pi bond. But what happens here in the case of the uh, organometallic compounds is the metal, say for example, lead, okay, may directly bond with the pi bonding system. So tetraethyl lead, which you use as a knocking agent, which is anti-knocking agent, tetraethyl lead. Okay, so this is used in petrol. Why? Used to reduce the knocking power. What happens is when the petrol is burned, it produces large amount of heat, so that it can lead to busting off. Burst a chance. So to reduce this bursting, to reduce this knocking power, or to reduce the octane power, what this you could do is to add the tetraethyl lead. And this tetraethyl lead is an organometallic compound, helps in reducing the knocking factor. But what happens is this tetraethyl lead is led into the atmosphere. It goes into the atmosphere after the fuel is completely burned. So we have nowadays unleaded petrol in which they have substituted something, and without lead there is some petrol. However, the knocking power of the fuel has also been reduced, but some other agent apart from tetraethyl lead is added. This is one of the foremost example of what organometallics can do in the life of chemistry. Then you have this process in which nickel tetracarbonyl is there. So this is a purification of nickel process in which you use this cobalt. And there is a lot of chemistry behind this, even though you cannot have immediate applications. And then the synthesis of ferrocene is the beginning of the modern organometallic chemistry. Okay. What is the organic ligands? A number of ligands may bond through different atoms, different number of atoms. The number is indicated by, we call it as a eta, and sometimes we call it as the hapto. Hapto also. Hapto 7 means 7 types bonds. Hapto 6 means 6 types of bonds. Followed by a superscript. Superscript is like this. It comes at the top. Opposite of this superscript is subscript. Now the subscript comes to the bottom. Subscript comes to the bottom, superscript goes to the top. Okay, so ferrocene contains the pentahaptocyclopentadienyl ligand. Pentahapto means up to this, it is like this, pentahapto, cyclopenta, like this. I think you know this. Pentadienyl ligand. Diene means, dienyl. It's a kind of diene there actually. Here you have two bonds only, but they rotate, keep on rotating like this. So you put a magnetic line like that. So there is a bonding of ion with the central pi atoms. Okay, it is not bonding with with carbon atoms. It is the beauties. And hapto means it's moving faster, so you call it like this. Then the best part of this is the 18 electron rule, which is often asked in many examinations. I'm going to see the examples also. In the 18 electron rule, we say that the total number of 18 valence electrons on the central atom should be there. There may be exceptions, but for a good organometallic compound, the surrounding number of electrons for the central metal atom, surrounding for the central metal atom should conform to 18 electron rule. So it is only, it's not valence, it is just the surrounding. So some examples are given there. Chromium hexacarbon monoxide, up to 3 C3H3 FeCO2Cl, and then Mn ligand with attached to carbon monoxide. This is the carbonyl ligand. Okay, then up to 1 C3H3 after 5. This is connected by general hydrocarbons come before the metal atoms, and then the this type of compounds in which you have this metal of the first row, metal atoms of the first row. So this is almost satisfied for that. So I am just telling you the 18 electron. 18 electron represents a filled valence shell for the transition metal. This is possible. How is, actually if you see any central metal atom, we actually see octet rule like this. Okay, so these are only 8 electrons, and we call them as the octet rule. That is, this is for the bonding rule. Bonding rule according to VB theory. But here we are going to see about the uh, total number of electrons surrounding the valence shell. Okay. So you know very well valence can accommodate 2, 8, 18, etc. as it goes on going. Then why do many complexes violate the 18 electron rule? The 18 electron rule does not consider the type of bonding and interactions. So it is no interaction at all. The interactions between the ligand and the metal need to be identified to define if the complex will obey or violate electron rule. So if there is a obeying, it's well and good. If it doesn't obey, it doesn't mean that there is no organometallic compound, but it is also considered as the organometallic compound. So I have the notes from our sir. Here it is there. The EN, I think here it is. Okay, I'll just come to this. So you can see, there you can see. EN rule for geometry of the compounds. Now metals with 3 electron pairs will need 6 more bond pairs. 3 electron pairs. So it is telling about the pair. That means 6. Will need 6 more bond pairs. So 3 electron pairs means how much? 3 electron pair means, suppose if you have a metal like this, 1, 2, 3. So what does it say? It will need 1 more electron pair, 3 more electron pair like this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6 bond pairs from the ligands. So the X is from ligand. X is from the ligand. So that they satisfy the electron 18 electron rule. We'll count the electron later here in these examples. And such complexes are octahedral. So for example, VCO6 minus, CrCO6 minus, MnCO6 minus. Okay, so I'm just taking the example here. You can see lone pair electrons here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So you have put in 12. Okay. Now these 12 are 6 provided by metal. this 6 provided by metal, and then the 6 provided by the ligand. So you have 12. Then what happens is at the central metal atom is having d electrons. Okay, these d electrons are provided there in the d orbital. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So here you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. And even sometimes 4s2 will also be there. In the case of this d6 case is given there. D6 case given there. So you add a plus 6, so you get a 18. 18 electron is there. If you have an extra, you can take the D7 case. If you have an extra electron pair like this, it's not involved in the surrounded things, and bonding is very weak. So you can take chromium, manganese, ferrous, all this will have D6. So the result is, if you have Fe2 plus, it will be D6. If you have Mn2 plus, it will be Mn2 plus, it will be D6. Some the 4s2 electrons will be removed. It actually is D5, but this electron will be there, the 4s for the surrounding. So you will get the 18 electron group. But in some cases, it may be the violation. Okay, so if M equal to D6, the valency will be going like this: V minus. This is what I just tell you. Yeah, that is vanadium with an extra minus charge, chromium with 0, manganese plus, and Fe2 plus. So all these things will have D6 case. D6 case. So you need to remember this. Okay. So that means out of the 12, out of this 18, 12 come from this. 12 come from this. Okay. And the rest of the 6 from D orbitals. This is an empirical theory. Empirical theory means as and where it is, it may not be, they may not be exactly listened to. Okay. So some examples of the organic ligands are worked out there. You can see there's metals with 4 electron pairs will need 5 ligand bond pairs. 5 into 2 equal to 10. 4 into 2 equal to 8. So this 8 plus 10 will give you 18. So you need to underline this. Metals with 4 electrons will need 5 ligand pairs. That's important there, the writing point. So you have to write these points to satisfy the 18 electron rule. The geometry will be trigonal, bipyramidal, or square pyramidal, depending on that. So you don't bother about this, but it is easier to write the geometry here. Trigonal bipyramidal is written like this. Okay, metal at the center, so you'll have this. And then square pyramidal, and then square pyramidal is there. Octahedral you can write very well. Octahedral is quite opposite of this. One ligand like this, another ligand, another 8 set of ligand like this. So this will be trigonal bipyramidal, and this will be octahedral in nature. Okay, so metals with 5 electron pairs just need 4 ligand pairs to satisfy the. You can see this. Metals with 5 electron pairs just need 4 ligand bond pairs to satisfy that. 5 electron pairs equal to 10. 4 ligand pairs, 4 into 2 equal to 8. So 8 plus 10 equal to 18 electron pairs. So what is that? Metals with 5 electron pairs. So you can see the example that are given there. Tetra cobaltoferrate, tetra carbonyl ferrate, nickel carbonyl ferrate, and tetra carbonyl nickelate, CuPps3. This is phosphine ligand with chlorine atom. This again is CO4 carbon monoxide ligand with cobalt. This is cobalt and this one is carbon monoxide. So some of the examples that are there, you have to remember these for examples. Okay. If FeCO4, if COCO4 minus, you look at the charges there, 2 minus is there, minus is there. So everything will give you the 18 electron surroundings. COCO3 NO. So there is a nitrate ligand there. So but this one is neutral. This one is also neutral. Okay. There are some examples with 16 electron rule, but you need not have to mention them. What is that 16 electron rule? Iridium complex. This is some extreme complex with diphosphine ligand, chloro and carbon monoxide. This obeys the 16 electron rule. There are no 18 electrons surrounding that. Okay. And this is an organometallic compound. How? Platinum is connected to the pi system of the ethylene. Pi system of ethylene. Here this will have this ligand PPS3 will come out like this. Okay, so you will have so many pi systems there. Okay, so this iridium will be interacting with any of the pi system. The same thing is there with this pi system and platinum. Okay, so here this is the platinum triphenyl phosphine. One, this is one, this is two, and this is the three. One more phosphate. This is another ligand. You see this? This acyl compound in which you have two pi bonds there. Two pi bonds there. So it is directly bonded to this pi system, and you have it. So these two will help. These two phenyl phosphate ligands will help this. So these are the cases of the 16 electron group. So you can count them, write them in separate notebooks, and find out how many electrons are there present in the, how many electron atoms are surrounded there. I'll write separately later for those class of compounds. And here is the summary of this. Classical compounds and organic compounds. What are the difference between the classical? The metals are in their higher oxidation states such as +2, +3, +4, etc. And the metals are in their lower oxidation state in the organometallic compounds. An example is ferrocene. The ligands coordinated to central metal are amines, halides, and oxygen donors like this. The ligands organic against group central metal atom are through the carbon atom, but to a pi system. Okay, the organometallic ligands, these compounds need not obey 18 electron rule, classic compounds, and the organometallic must obey the EAN rule. This we have already seen. Here you can see it is 18 and here it is 15. So uh, the fourth example is the fourth difference. There is only so you can see that there is only normal bonding between metal and ligand. In this bond, ligand donates a pair of electrons and the metal that is mutual. In addition to the normal sigma bond and additional bond, there is a pi back bonding. That is, we call it as the synergism. So usually, metal you will have one metal and you will have ligand. So metal donates to some electrons to the ligand, and then ligand donates a mutual pair of electrons. Okay, but what happens is the metal to ligand pi back bonding is there. That is why we have included that these d electrons are involved in back bonding. So this often accounts for their stability of the organometallic compounds. Actually, bonding effects in these cases are more than the sum of the individual sigma and pi bond effects. That is what is accounting for the stability. This is a synergism. This is known as synergism, which leads to extra stability of the organometallic compound. So you need to remember this as the important point there. Okay. So here again you can also go back to the point number 3. Need not obey the 18 or 16 electron means you can just see the number of valence electrons there. There's 3, 6 and S3 12, so it needs only 15 electrons. So these two are important points, and I am summing up this that the organometallic compounds should obey 18 electron rule. For that, you will have to give a few examples. The examples are given there, and you need to remember these examples. So what are the examples? Here they are: VCO6 minus, CrCO6, MnCO6 plus, FeCO4, H2. So these 4 examples are very important examples for describing the 18 electron group, 18 EN. Okay, so let me stop here, and we shall go to the session next session later. See you around. Thank you.